Assalaamu Alaikum and welcome to a very special episode of the Muslim Gamers Podcast. Today, we're diving into one of the most anticipated announcements in the gaming world. Nintendo's revealed of the brand new Switch 2. I'm Faraj. Today, it looks like it's just going to be a two-man show, so I'm joined by Laughing Man here with me. And we couldn't be more excited to break down everything we've learned about this next generation console. Or could we? Maybe. I don't know. So get comfortable. Let's jump right into the exciting world of what we know so far about, officially at least, about the Nintendo Switch 2. So, Laughing Man, Assalamu Alaikum, how you doing?
Yo, alaikum salam. The Switch 2 is real.
It's absolutely real. I'm glad they went with the numbered scheme. They didn't go with the Switch U or Switch Me
Okay,
or...
Switch U just sounds awful. Like, Switch U, yo, I'm gonna play the new Mario on the Switch. Yeah, because if you think about it, like,
or they didn't call it the
PlayStation,
Switch 1 like Xbox One
or
or the Switch
some people are
Series.
some people are thinking Switch Pro or Super Switch.
Super Switch, yeah.
Super
Super Switch makes
Switch.
sense because they went from Nintendo to Super Nintendo and both of those
But let's be
consoles
real.
were
Nobody's gonna actually call it the Super Switch. They're gonna still call it
the
the
Switch 2, yeah.
Switch.
So
Like,
they did the smart thing going with Switch 2.
and Nintendo has had wacky naming schemes. Let's not forget, you got the 3DS,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got
The
the
2DS.
no, sorry, 3DS, 3DS XL,
Mm-hmm.
3DS Sci, or
Mm-hmm.
no, sorry, that
No,
was
there
the
was no
DSi.
3DSi. There was only DSi.
Yeah, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
3DS XL, then they have the 2DS,
Mm-hmm.
then the N3DS,
The new
the new
3DS, yeah.
Nintendo 3DS,
Yeah.
and then the N3DS XL.
XL. Mm-hmm.
But
And then
that
the 2DS
N3DS,
XL.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? No, the N3DS and the 3DS are technically two different consoles. The N3DS has more, better performance
Right.
and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody calls it. Yo, I was playing Pokemon on my N3DS. Nobody says that. Everyone just says I was playing on my 3DS.
Exactly. Yeah.
But imagine if they called it the 3DS two or something. Although that would still be a mouthful.
Right.
But anyways, going to the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Switch 2, easy. I'm gonna get on my Switch 2. Eventually people say just Switch, but like people will know, like, you know,
Yeah. It's kind of
it's the
like when people
Switch
say,
2.
"Oh, I'm gonna hop on PlayStation." They probably just mean the
Exactly.
PS5. You
Yeah.
know.
And
Yeah.
Microsoft, we don't know what goes on in their naming department there, because you had the Xbox, then you had the so I saw one speculation, kind of a side tangent. When the Xbox 360 released, it was going to compete with the PS3. Now you might be thinking, why didn't they just call it the Xbox 2?
Right.
The speculation was that they're afraid people would think, oh, Xbox 2, but PS3? 3 bigger than 2. And
Um.
now how many people, if that's true, how many people actually think that? Come on, like, let's be real.
No, I'd be to be honest. With some of my educational background being in psychology, I'd be interested to see like
Yeah.
what subconsciously people might like automatically be drawn to the three versus the two. I don't know.
Yeah.
The fact that the Xbox 360 was available much earlier than the PS3, people were able to get their hands on it a lot earlier and had more games, did contribute to its success.
Yeah.
The name definitely didn't have anything to do with it. In fact, I remember when the Xbox One came out. This will be the last part of our tangent, I promise, guys. When the Xbox One came out, some guy actually asked me, he's like, why do they never release a new version of the Xbox? They've just been stuck with Xbox One. Is like, no, the Xbox One is technically the third
The third
console.
iteration. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
What?
guess they call it the one because it's like the one stop shop for everything. But you know what?
Why
Enough
didn't?
about Microsoft.
Yeah.
Let's
Go
actually talk
back.
about,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah. Let's talk about
back
what
to the
we're here to
Switch.
talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. Switch Two, great name.
Hmm.
Just as the leaks, some of the leaks predicted and said so. The
Hmm.
logo, everything is exactly. Now, I wonder if any Nintendo ninjas will start. One speculation I saw was no, the announcement wouldn't happen today, and that Nintendo f- um, falsely fed information to see who the leakers are within
Yeah, that's smart.
internally.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of, because companies have done that,
Oh yeah.
in the
Hmm.
past.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we got it. Naming scheme is cool. Now, a little bit. I wish they had shown us a little bit more. Um, what Nintendo is doing is what I call the Atlas style of revealing something. So Atlas, they're the company that makes Persona,
Persona,
Shin
Metaphor,
Megami Tensei,
Fantasio. Yeah.
and they're notorious for reveals. What they do is they do a title reveal. They just show like a 6 or a 7. Then they do another teaser, not even a trailer, a teaser. And then there's another reveal. They have like multiple teaser like stuff before an actual announcement trailer.
Right.
It's like a
Yeah.
slow drip feed type thing. So
Mhm.
Nintendo's kind of doing a similar thing. They're like announcement, and then an actual like today should have been the direct, in my opinion. It would
It
have
should have.
been
Yeah.
it because people have been like clamoring for news of a
Hmm.
upgraded Switch or like a Switch successor since like 2 3 years ago, man. Um,
Hmm.
there was there was leaks about the Switch Lite and a Switch Pro several years ago. The Switch Lite did come out, but there was no Switch Pro. So
Right.
people have been
Yeah.
clamoring for it. Like
Hmm.
today would have been a perfect day for like a full direct, information. But yeah, Nintendo's doing the drip feed method. Um,
Yeah, they're probably waiting until after the fiscal year. Maybe that has something to do
Probably,
with the
yeah,
releases. So we'll see.
yeah.
For those that don't know, fiscal year for some reason they go from the 1st of April to of the year to the next year's first
Yep.
March 31st. So um,
Probably
uh,
because of tax season and
tax
stuff, because
season, all
taxes are
that.
due
Yeah,
in April and stuff. So yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of that in there. But let's actually talk about. And it was what a 2 minute, no,
it's
two
about two
minute
minutes,
twenty
two
one
three.
second episode.
Yeah,
20
like
21
one.
second video, yeah.
I it
221
was
or
like it was
222,
really
something like that.
short.
Very
Yeah.
short, pretty to the point. It's like they started with the old Switch, and then it was like, here's a new one. It's bigger. Just in our main episode,
I do
that's
like
what
the
I said.
transitions, like
Hmm.
the way they transition from the old Switch. Like,
Hmm.
oh look, it's growing bigger. Oh, up, three buttons appeared. Like that was
Right.
kind of the effects were kind of cool.
Yeah, which is basically what all the case manufacturer leaks
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, that it couldn't get more real than that. So that's we're seeing more of that here. So nothing major has really been revealed with this, with the way it looks and the way we thought it was going to be like.
yeah. The initial
Yeah,
leaks did tell us about like like they're magnetic. The Joy Cons
right,
are magnetically
hmm,
attached instead of sliding it in.
right.
Which I think that's kind of cool actually.
Yeah, the one thing
Um,
that worries me about that is there's this like little
yeah.
piece, like a little metal thing that kind of sticks out on the side of the. I guess
Oh
maybe that's
yeah,
part
yeah,
of the magnet or something. I
yeah.
feel like that's going to be a point of failure. I feel like that's going to break pretty easily, but only time will tell, or once people get their hands on these things, which
That's
maybe
also
there
true.
might be
Like
someone we know who might be getting their hands on one of these, but there's more to come on that down the line in the future. We'll just leave it at
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Um, and one thing they did mention a lot of people are focusing on is it said at the end it's gonna play Switch titles.
Yes. Hmm.
But it said some Switch One titles
Yeah.
will not work, and so
Right.
people were kind of speculating like, oh, what is that referring to? And most people think it's referring to stuff like Ring Fit Adventure because it requires like a specific um,
Right.
a peripheral.
Not to
Um,
mention Labo, the Nintendo Labo.
yeah, Labo. But I would be surprised if they said like, oh, this game it's only gonna work on the Switch One, but not on the Switch Two, because it really seems like uh, modern console manufacturers they are keeping backwards compatibility in mind,
Hmm.
because again, a little side tangent, but uh, remember when PS4, Xbox One released
Hmm.
backwards
None of that was backwards
compatibility?
compatible.
None of that was backwards compatible. That's why they had to constantly remaster, re-release
Right.
stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I'm always going to be on PC. Never gonna.
Right.
I don't ever see myself getting a main console because
Hmm.
I don't have to worry about backwards compatibility. Like I can just boot it up and play the old versions.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really cool. Um, I I I do hope with the Switch 2 they start bringing more 3DS titles, maybe, because the only way
Right.
to play certain 3DS games is you have to own a 3DS, right? Like an
Hmm.
actual hardware.
Hmm.
There are ways to make certain 3DS titles that use like one screen instead. Like you just have to press a button and
Right.
it opens up like the map or items menu.
Allegedly, from what I hear, that's kind of how emulators on the PC handhelds work as well, where you could kind of
Allegedly,
switch.
yeah.
Yeah, allegedly.
Hypothetically, yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, yeah.
Um, but speaking of games, the only thing they showed was like it looks like a new
Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart,
9. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I think I saw a video that broke it down where it looked like it was a new model for Donkey Kong on the cart.
It looks
So
more similar to the film, the Super
exactly.
Mario film
Hmm.
version. Which,
Yeah,
spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it by now, well, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, Donkey Kong's
yeah. Donkey
in it.
Kong's in there. He's heavily featured in the trailer if you haven't seen that.
Yep.
But yeah, there's um, yeah, that was
Oh,
I do kind of going back to what you were saying. I do wish there was more of a direct thing here, but
yeah.
that's still coming up. Which, funnily enough, that's what they said at the end of the video was that the Nintendo Direct about this to go more into detail is going to be in 4/2/2025,
And
and
they might be, sorry, they might be giving an opportunity for third-party developers to be like, oh, soon to be available on PC, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch 2, right?
mhm.
Now they can start showcasing that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. The
And
funny
that,
thing about the date, though, I just want to mention touch on that date thing
oh
a little
yeah,
bit,
the day.
because I don't know if we were talking offline or if it was actually mentioned in the last episode we recorded. By the way, we're recording this the same day of the reveal on January 16th, and this episode is going to be, if you don't already know, is going to be released after the main episode, but on the same day. Um, so we were talking about this offline where some leaks suggested that the Switch 2 will be releasing sometime in like the beginning of March or something like that. But the direct date was 4/2/2025, which in the US we read it as April 2nd, 2025. But I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, that doesn't line up with the leak. Did the leak get it wrong? Or so I did a quick Google
Yeah, the
search.
leak said the direct would be in February.
Yeah. And that's
Two
what some of the
four.
websites were suggesting
Yeah, 2/4.
after. Yeah. That's what some websites, when I Googled it, were suggesting that, oh, the direct after today's video came out, they're like, oh yeah, the direct is coming out on 2/4 or like February 4th. And then other websites were like, wait, no, it's coming out April 2nd. And then I was like, you know what? We saw the Nintendo of America's version of the trailer. Let me actually look at Nintendo UK's trailer. And over there, it's at 2/4, which
Two
means,
four.
yeah, for the
Yeah.
rest of the world other than the US, it's day first and then month and then year. So yeah, it's going to be
So the
yeah,
leakers basically got the international date, the
right.
international format,
Yeah,
and I'm guessing that a lot of the people covering the leaks are mostly American, so
right.
they read it as,
I
oh,
think
February
wasn't the
4th.
leak for the release that you said was like March 7th? So that would actually mean if you flip the dates, it would be July 3rd.
It was from Amazon Italy, I think, or
Right.
something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that
Yeah.
would make sense. Yeah, July
Yeah.
third. Unless if maybe I don't know if they read the date wrong. We're not gonna know what the official release date is until
Yeah.
Nintendo actually tells us. So
We don't even know the official pricing yet. It's
right.
speculated to be like 399,
Hmm.
between 399 and 499, which makes complete, sense to me,
Yeah.
because this is supposed to be um a more powerfuler Switch, and the Switch, it was like what?
It was
299?
299 in 2017, which
Yeah.
I did a quick Google calculation that adjusted for inflation, that
Yeah.
amount would be about $380 today. I'm
There you
thinking
go.
Nintendo usually likes to stay in that affordable price point,
Right.
so it'll more than likely be 399 rather than 499. So that's where I'm. If betting was halal, I would put my money on that, but it's not. I'm just gonna say it's my educated guess based on
Bet imaginary money in Balatro.
there you go. Yeah, I mean, you're not even betting money in Balatro, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What was interesting was there was a point in the video where the Joy Cons, they got on these things and they started moving around like mice. It's like,
Oh
why is
yeah,
it moving around like mice?
like a remote control car almost.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but
yeah.
it's like a mouse with the tail. Like that's how it's kind of like zigzagging. And then I caught a couple of other videos where they're like, oh yeah, they actually officially revealed that they're gonna have a mouse mode, and I'm like, oh,
I did hear about this. There was a leak, like it's gonna have like a some sort of mouse mode
right,
type thing where you can, and that makes me think, like, did they take some inspiration from the Steam Deck? Like, because you know how the Steam
or
Deck, it has those
the
portions where you can rub
trackpads.
your thumb, the trackpads. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems more so like the Lenovo Legion Go, because that actually has a detachable controller that you can
Oh
use.
yeah.
Because people are saying, "Oh, hey, Nintendo," or sorry, Lenovo is copying Nintendo with the detachable Joy Cons, and then now it looks like Nintendo copied Lenovo from the mouse mode on their controller. Yeah, I don't know who
Yeah,
came up
because
with it first,
do
but yeah,
you? I'm thinking, like, do you detach the new Joy Cons, and you could basically kind of like a Wiimote. You can basically like point at your screen and move stuff around.
Well,
Maybe.
that's kind of how the current Joy Cons work. If you played games that are primarily motion control, like with Nintendo Switch Sports, you have to point the Joy-Con, but it uses the accelerometer and the motion
Right, right,
controls
right.
in there
But this
to
wouldn't be for
detect that.
specific software titles. It would be just for in general.
I
Maybe
think so.
um maybe you use your Switch to you download the YouTube app and you wanna, listen to the Muslim Gamers podcast. And
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's a. I don't know if the Switch would be a great place for to listen. Maybe who knows if the Switch 2 has like you can have an app running in the background and play your games. Sure, that would be a great place to do that.
let's have our expectations a little like
Yeah,
grounded
exactly.
here. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's this is more. This is not even an expectation. It's like just purely just completely ungrounded speculation.
The
Um,
I A friend of mine, I kind of agree because we were talking about this, and I kind of agree with her assessment. She's like, I don't really care about the Switch 2. She's like, I'm more concerned about what titles will be on it and will existing titles
yeah,
run
at the
better.
end of the
That's
day, yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that as people talk about a console's specs on paper, like, oh, this many teraflops, this much memory, DDR5 or
Yeah. Yep.
DDR6 or whatever.
Yep.
None of that matters without the games. It's like if you're talking about a race car, it could have all the horsepower it can, but if there isn't a good enough driver to drive it, you
Or
know,
a good
the
enough track or road to drive it on.
for it to
So,
drive it on, exactly, yeah.
yeah.
So the but we historically Nintendo has put out good software, good games on their platforms. So I'm sure we can expect a Mario. More than likely Metroid Prime 4 is going to have a Switch 2 port, or
Like,
I don't know if it's going to
please be
be.
minimum 60 frames. Please, like,
I
come
mean, the
on,
trailer
Nintendo.
showed
Get
showed it off to be about 60 frames. So
this is true. Oh,
yeah.
and speaking of that trailer, people pointed out in that Mario Kart, it looked like there was, um, because currently, what's the maximum you can have in Mario Kart 8? What's the maximum number of
Number of
in
racers,
racers in a
I want
track?
to say
It's like,
8.
yeah, it looked like it was more than that.
Oh, I didn't pay
So they're
attention to
able
that.
to increase it. So,
Maybe. Who knows?
and
If
someone
Nintendo can figure out the netcode, then sure.
and someone was saying, because there's that one, I think it's on NSO, like Nintendo Switch Online. It's
Hmm.
this old F-Zero game where it's kind of like
Mm,
you're in a race with like 99, or but it's pixelated. You're in a race with like 99 other
okay.
NPC cars, whatever. If I don't like battle royales, but a racing battle royale, like imagine a Mario Kart with like
Yeah, that
24,
would. Yeah,
like 24 people. That would
that.
that would destroy entire families more
Oh,
than
yeah.
Monopoly.
Families, entire
Mario Party.
generations, entire tribes. You name it. Yeah.
Or again, this is all speculation and kind of wishful thinking.
Hmm.
Three separate tracks, eight on each, but happening simultaneously, and then they converge.
Okay. Very slight tangent, but I want to say it was Forza Horizon 4 that actually had a battle royale mode in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and with the
exactly.
map kind
So
of. So maybe they
imagine
mentioned
that
something like that.
in Mario Kart. And if
Yeah.
they whatever new Smash they make, um I don't know, like 10 10 people
Hmm.
at a time. Like it would be chaotic, and chaotic is fun, but
Yeah.
also destroys families.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as we've seen with multiple Mario Party, Smash, and Mario Kart sessions.
Mario
Um,
Kart and Party more so than
yeah,
Smash, and I
yeah.
think.
Smash is more so like, okay, we knew what we were getting into. Kind of going back to one thing I did want to mention about
Yeah,
the mouse mode is I am thinking they're probably just gonna have it controlled just like gyro, because the way I see it, having some experience with the Steam Deck, the it has mouse, like games that PC games that have mouse control. It has you can use the gyro on the Steam Deck to basically emulate the mouse. So they might try to do something the other way around, where a lot of games, like, I know I'm going to be triggering one of our MG Discord members, Tomb Zader, when I say Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom,
amazing
that
game,
have.
brilliant work of art.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see Tomb Zader go crazy in the comments there, but those games have the gyro aiming, so maybe with the mouse you might be able to. I've heard allegedly that those games, when emulated on a PC and you're playing with the mouse, it's great to play with with the open world that you can move around with the mouse. But that's
Allegedly.
only what I'm hearing allegedly.
Yeah.
One last thing I did want to mention is this is um, uh, we still don't know. Nothing else has officially been confirmed beyond what's in that video, but it doesn't look like it'll be OLED based on a lot of what the leaks are saying, especially from like the hardware vendor or the components
Yeah.
vendors.
Yeah.
It'll likely be just a LED panel or LCD panel, which I'm okay with because I don't have the only OLED device that I have is my iPhone, and from what I hear, there's actually
You
a
don't have the Steam
few.
Deck OLED?
No, I have the LCD Steam Deck.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so there's a specific issue that a very small portion of the population experience with the refresh rate on OLED screens, where it kind of messes with their eyes and starts to give them migraines after a while.
Oh,
Like when I say
interesting.
a while, like after about like maybe 20 minutes of usage, which is
That's not that
why,
long.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So, uh, and plus on top of that, LCD panels are a lot cheaper than OLED
Yeah,
panels.
at the end of the day, those are
Yeah.
cheaper. Yeah.
So they're gonna go with something that's cheaper to manufacture that more people can play with. And I'd like there to be an LCD option first, and then if they want to do an OLED, just like how they did with the Switch OLED, they could do that as well. So yeah, that's all
That's
I got.
most That's kind of what I see them doing as well, like
Yeah.
LCD version. Steam Deck did the same thing, LCD version, and
Yeah.
then now
And then
like the most expensive one, latest version is the OLED version.
right.
That's what I kind of see them doing as well. Um, it now given some of the leakers who got the date of this announcement correct and the logo and all of these other things, I'm hoping the other rumors about Switch 2 using DLSS is
Hmm.
correct. In the previous episode that we just recorded yesterday, that's one of my hopes because DLSS it'll definitely help with like performance um, for a lot of games, upscale them.
Hmm.
Some people can notice the difference, but I mean, some people don't care. And yeah, that's what I want, and I'm hoping. I'm hoping Pokemon Legends ZA, Metroid Prime 4, new Fire Emblem, and a new Xenoblade because that's mainly what I use my Switch for.
Right.
I'm hoping we get like launch titles of those and just come on, 60 frames. Like it join the 21st century Nintendo. Come on.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice to see. Um, but before we start wrapping up, the one thing I do want to ask is just for you yourself, Laughing Man.
Mhm.
On a scale of definitely gonna buy to not gonna touch it with a 10-foot pole, after seeing the reveal, where are you leaning? I know you can't. Not many people will look at that reveal and say, "I'm buying it right now. I'm pre-ordering it right now, or trying to get it right now." Um, so I'm guessing you don't fall under one or the other, but where do you fall in between? Are you
Yeah,
leaning more
definitely
towards
not
possibly?
any extremes.
Hmm.
I fall into the I'm gonna wait for the new poke. Okay, this is literally how I bought every Nintendo handheld.
Hmm.
Oh, new Pokemon game got announced and has a release date. All right, time to buy it. That's that's literally that's literally how I bought my Switch.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
think I think a lot of people just wait for the next Pokemon game and then get the system
and that's
with them.
why Pokemon games they will always be tied to a Nintendo console because
Right.
they literally I know of people who literally get it just because they're Pokemon fans and that's all they play on it.
Yeah.
So for me it's going to be that and specifically is the Switch 2 is going to improve performance. If there's no performance difference, then I probably won't touch it until like a while, like, and even then maybe I'd get like a used version or something.
Right.
But I would be surprised if cuz if they're making newer games for the Switch 2, I would imagine they're going to take advantage of the more powerful hardware and while they
Right.
might run on Switch 1, it might be less, kind of like the PS4
I th-
Pro
yeah, I
and the
think
PS4.
yeah, I because between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, it
Mhm.
wasn't. that long of a duration in between both of those
Yeah.
consoles coming out. There are some games where between the PS4 and the PS5 where you can barely tell the difference. Like for example, Bloodborne. There's no
Oh yeah,
there's no
because
performance improvements for the PS4 version on Bloodborne
yeah,
running
because
on
it's not
PS5.
taking blood. Because you need a software update for
Right.
the
Hmm.
Bloodborne to take advantage of the PS5's hardware, but it's
Hmm.
not. It's just yeah. So that's what me. I'm a wait and see till things are out, and also I got this from my a best friend gave me this idea. He has a rule: he doesn't buy new hardware on launch. He waits
Hmm.
about half a year to a full year before buying it,
Hmm.
because a lot of newer hardware nowadays, you
A lot
could
of
get a
defects.
launch day PS5, Switch 2, whatever,
Hmm.
or even an Nvidia graphics card, and it might have like some issues, and
Hmm.
then you gotta RMA it, like deal with that hassle.
Right.
But then you wait like about a half a year. Even it doesn't have to be half a year. It could be like 2 3 months. By that time, the people who've bought them had the issues. They've sent them back and they've
Hmm.
ironed out all the the issues basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Uh,
I'm a wait and see type person
Yeah,
basically.
I think that's, I mean, especially with how much we know, it's probably a smarter way to look at it, to be honest. For me, I'm actually leaning towards probably not going to get this at launch, or maybe not even like a year into it. Just because there are so many games that I have on my
Yeah.
Switch, and now that I
No,
have two
I get
Switches,
you. Yeah.
it's like I don't want to buy a third Switch. Who knows, when we see the release for that. The
You
Switch,
could
funnily
trade in
enough,
you could trade in your
I
Switch Lite. I know you're gonna probably get the price of a Taco Bell dollar menu from GameStop, but
yeah,
like
probably, yeah. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Switch was actually the only console that I got very close to launch. Like it was within like 3 months. I actually remember
oh
buying
wow.
it at a Walmart in New Jersey on the eve of 4th of July. It was July 3rd.
That sounds like a
Uh,
story in of itself.
that's a separate story. Which, well, I wanted to keep this episode within 20 minutes, but we're closely approaching 30 minutes. So I think this would be a good place for us to wrap up
Yeah.
the episode here. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
I think we've pretty much covered
Yeah,
pretty much maybe even gone like
yeah.
dissected the Switch too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think
So
we've
I
covered.
yeah.
Yeah, we've covered a good amount of that here. With that, you know what? We'll go ahead and conclude our special episode on the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. We hope viewers, listeners, you enjoyed our deep dive into this script here says all the new features, specs, and what this means. There's nothing else revealed. We hope you enjoyed us talking about and speculating over a 2 minute video. But you know what? If I want to hear the viewers and listeners what they think. If they're ready to pre-order, they're still on the fence, or if they don't want to touch it with the 10-foot pole, let us know in the comments here. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. Share your excitement or questions about the Switch 2. And if you enjoyed the special episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, leave us a comment. It helps us bring more exciting content to you. Thank you for joining us on the special journey into Nintendo's latest innovation. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and keep on gaming. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.